Oh, so everyone, we're so excited for the second time in 2 years to invite Stacey Abrams back to encourage early voting. Today is the last day. Thank you. Early voting in the county. It's been tremendous turnout for Democrats so far, but we got to finish strong. We have today. We still can encourage people to drop in their absentee mail-in ballots in drop boxes only. Don't mail it all the way to the 5th at 7 p.m. And we want to encourage everyone to go in this here. If you haven't voted yet, to go in today. And without further ado, please welcome back Stacey Abrams.
Okay, so raise your hand if you've already voted. Who are you?
Oh no, see, I can't vote yet because we live in a little small community with our own precinct, and if I go early, they might close our precinct.
Okay, I just need to know why.
We go in.
Who else has an excuse?
We're going I was waiting for my ballot, but I'm walking right over there when this is over.
We didn't get our ballot, so.
Well, look, if we get this done, we're going to be making huge strides towards ensuring that that doesn't happen to anyone again. I am always happy to be here. Okay. It is an honor to be back, and you guys keep showing out. You increased your Democratic performance again. Chris Benton. And I know a lot of attention is focused on Atlanta, but I know that Georgia is a big state, and that the numbers that we keep adding, the numbers that gave Joe Biden 12,000 extra votes, right here. And so I'm here because I don't just work for the voters in Atlanta. I work for the voters of Georgia. Okay. Now, I believe voting is a nonpartisan activity. Everyone should have the right to vote if you're eligible. But I try to make sure the people who vote are Democrats because we need leaders who actually want us to have the right to vote in the state of Georgia.
Right.
Yeah. And if you've been watching, we've got 2 U.S. senators who have seemed to think that the only jobs they have are to make money for themselves and to block access to money for you guys. We watched the flip-flop. I don't even know if it's a flip-flop as much as it is a cartwheel that they've been doing. David Perdue has spent the last year telling us the direct payments to individuals who are struggling are wrong. The same man who very, very happily voted for a $1 trillion tax cut for billionaires and for corporations thought that getting $1,200 per person was too much. Now he then grudgingly voted for the $600. So now we're up to $1,800. This is from a man who made millions of dollars on the pandemic. And then yesterday, like he was on the road to Damascus, the light hit him, and he suddenly decided he believed in $2,000 payments. Now, Kelly was on the other donkey, I guess. She was talking about the fact that unemployment benefits should not be increased because that disincentivizes work. Because I don't think she's ever been unemployed and doesn't understand that if you're unemployed, it's not because you're disincentivized to work, it's because you can't find work. Right. And the people are not trying to game the system, they're trying to get from the system what they put in because unemployment isn't magic. It came out of your paychecks. You paid for the opportunity to have someone stand up for you when you can't stand up for yourself. And she said that that would disincentivize work. I don't know if it was before or after she made another few $100,000 or $1 million off of the pandemic, or before she helped her husband make enough money that he is now a billionaire. He's no longer a 100 millionaire, he's a billionaire. But she yesterday, on that same jackass on the road to Damascus, decided that the $2,000 was okay. And then something strange happened. They both declared they agree, and then Mitch McConnell bravely blocks it, like they didn't know it was coming. And he has decided that yes, struggling Georgians, struggling Americans can have $2,000 to take care of themselves for the entire winter, but only if they get to feed into Donald Trump's feud with Twitter, knowing it will never happen. Only if businesses are allowed to be removed from liability for their forcing frontline workers to go to work during COVID. That's the cost of $2,000. And if you heard a word from Kelly or from David about how they're going to force Mitch McConnell to vote up or down on the $2,000, no. That's because they don't care about Georgia. They don't care about the folks who are struggling. They don't care about the people who made their jobs possible. We are Americans, we are Georgians, and we deserve leaders who see us, who believe in us, and who will fight for us.
Yes.
And that is why my friends Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock need to be the next 2 U.S. Senators from the great state of Georgia. Yes. Because John is a man who was trained in politics by none other than John Lewis.
Amen.
And I've gotten to know John since 2017. He is as smart and as thoughtful and as careful as you imagine. He is someone who believes in doing what's right, and he's someone who's going to work harder than anybody you've ever seen to get right done. And then there's my friend Raphael Warnock, a man who in 2005, when Hurricane Katrina destroyed lives and sent refugees here to Atlanta, and to Georgia, and they were based in Atlanta. In his first year as the pastor at Ebenezer, he got a caravan together to take those refugees home so they could go and vote. And then, because, you know, we're in the South, when they had a runoff, he put him back in the cars and got him back there again. He's a man who didn't just talk about criminal justice reform. He held expungement events in his church to help returning citizens get back to work and get their records clean. And he stood shoulder to shoulder with me when we fought for Medicaid expansion. And he stood shoulder to shoulder with us when we fought to get people on the rolls through the New Georgia Project. Raphael Warnock is a man of honor, a man of courage, and he deserves the title of Reverend because he holds those values of faith to be true and he lives them every day. Now, do you want two people who have profiteered from the pandemic or two people who want to see Georgia get stronger and invest in Georgians? I want people who care about me. I want people who care about us. I want folks who wake up every morning thinking, how can I serve? Not how can I earn? How can I grow my own portfolio at the expense of Georgians? Because we don't just have to survive COVID. We've got to recover from it. And if we learn nothing else from yesterday's little song and dance from Kelly and David, is that they have no plans to serve you after they get reelected. Mitch McConnell has already said that he's only going to help us with $2,000 if we give away everything else. And they haven't said a word against him. And so if you think on January 6th they're suddenly going to be on the road to Damascus again, they're going to be on the road back to Wall Street, where they can make more money at the expense of Georgians. Now, I don't mind money. I think money's nice. I've lived without it, and I've had it, and I like having it more. But I don't deserve to have it at the expense of those I'm called to serve. And that's why we need new leadership. That's why we deserve new leadership. And while 57% of Georgia voters are in the metro Atlanta area, I know where the other 43% are. And those narrow margins get smaller and smaller when we ignore places. Those narrow margins get bigger and bigger, and we win by more and more when we show up and when we show out. And when you walk across to put your ballot in, and when you show up at your precinct to preserve it, we are going to do the work of making democracy stronger in Georgia. Because every time there's a little blue dot in Upson, that reminds us that our work was not in vain, that November was not a fluke. November was a fact. Right. And the fact is we are a blue state, and we're going to get bluer and bluer and greater and greater. But I need you guys to do this for me. Today is the last day of early voting here. But Tuesday is last call.
Yes.
And so you've all cast your ballots.
Yes.
And you've all shown up here. Yes. When you go home today, I need you to find 3 people that you need to reach out to. And you know who they are. They're the ones who, when you start talking about politics, they start getting distracted and wandering off. They're the ones you know agree with you. They need that $2,000. But they don't believe in politics because they faced voter suppression at one point and just gave up. Or they don't think the politicians look out for them because they met them. We need you to be the ones who testify. Find 3 people who live here and tell them about why you vote. But then ask them, how can I help you? Because when people know that help is on the way, they'll work harder.
Yes.
And we know it's true because 67,000 people who did not vote in November have voted in this election. Yeah. And they are disproportionately young and disproportionately people of color because they know what's on the line. We don't buy votes in Georgia, but I can tell you this. If you want a $2,000 COVID payment, if you want COVID recovery to come to Upson, we've got to send Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock to Washington. Yeah. find 3 people. Everybody hold up 3. It conveniently also looks like a W. I need you to all find 3 people. I need you to call them and I need you to get a commitment from them. And the next thing I need you to do is find 2 young people. You 2 young people who just turned 18 or who are about to be 40 or anywhere in between. Because in South Georgia right now, it's young people who aren't voting. The ones who will inherit this earth if we still have one. The ones who won't have those jobs if we don't get recovery. The ones who risk the next decade of their lives being stunted because of people who don't care about their futures. And I need you to ask them what they need and help them understand that what they need is to vote. Because voting isn't magic, but it's the best weapon we have against those who want to see our demise. I want to see Georgia rise, and so I need you to do it. So 3 people, 2 young people,
2 young people.
and we've got 1 more job. And that is, we need to do everything in our power on social media to tell everybody we know in the state of Georgia that we voted. We need the Republicans to understand that we are everywhere. And we need the rest of South Georgia to believe in itself, to understand that your power is real. And we don't have to win every county. We got to win people in every county. And if we win people in every county and we can put those numbers together, we will repeat what we did in November and we'll get it done again. And then it's on to the next election and it's on to new opportunities.